Hello everybody, I've been playing quite a bit of the Black Ops 4 beta, and I'll reserve overall opinions until after the weekend, but I felt like going through the 10 specialists in the game and ranking which ones I've been enjoying using the most. I'll go into more detail than what you can just read off the list, and I'll show some gameplay for each of the abilities. I'll go through them in an order that is roughly, loosely, from what I like to what I don't care for, but it has to be said, keep in mind a couple things. I feel like I have a good amount of playtime with all of them. I am sitting at the current level cap of 25, maybe that'll already be higher when you're watching this. As of making this, it has only been about one full day of the beta so far, and this is just what I like. They can all play different roles in different modes and on different maps. Don't consider this to be an official tier ranking of any kind. By all means, go listen to some pro players who might know what they're talking about, or even better, make up your own mind based on your playstyle. All 10 of them are unlocked from the start in the beta. They're just in alphabetical order here, and I assume it'll be that way in the full game as well. With how the drafting works, you kind of need everyone to be able to pick from all 10 regardless of their level. So I'll kick things off with Crash. I assume not everybody's first pick, but I find myself defaulting to him the most. Both his abilities just don't take any real thought, so you can focus on the gameplay, but his main weapon is also very strong, that being the TAC-5 system. They call them all weapons, but being a non-lethal weapon, it charges up fairly quickly, and when activated, you instantly fully heal and boost your entire team up to 200 health, including yourself. You don't have to target your teammates or be anywhere near them. No, you just have to use your incredible level of skill to press a button that is given to you. The fact that you can call this in maybe 3 times in a TDM match and effectively give your team an advantage in 18 individual gunfights, or 15 depending on the mode, I think makes this much more valuable than getting 2 to 4 kills with a lethal specialist weapon that you can earn 1 time in a TDM. And needless to say, it can help take and defend objectives as well. You could try to wait for when you're low on health to call it, but you could also simply activate it as soon as you get it to buff up your entire team, which I tend to do. Same with Crash's equipment, being the assault pack. Another thing you can just throw down when you get it, no thought or waiting required. It's more or less just a bag of ammo. When you deploy it, you will automatically take some for yourself, which will load you up, and you'll also be gaining extra score for getting kills with it, being a plus 25 to help earn streaks. You also get a plus 50 every time a teammate takes from the bag. Not the best equipment out there, but the ammo and the extra score is nice for something that doesn't take any effort. And keep in mind, you can always replace your special issue equipment with a few other things, like a type of grenade at later levels, just not with the current level cap of 25, and it does cost an extra class point, so I don't feel it's worth it, but if you don't care for something like the ammo bags and want a regular old frag, for example, you can make that happen. But continuing with the no-effort abilities theme, next we'll do Nomad. He doesn't need reject to still be annoying. His weapon being the K9 unit, which is another thing that you may as well call in as soon as you get. Muster all of your skill to whistle him in, and it's just a free, unearned kill streak that can easily get 1 to 3 kills or so, requiring no input from you. It can also be a derp sometimes and do nothing, and you'll immediately hear that your K9 unit has been destroyed.
K9 unit has been destroyed.
I don't know about that word choice, it's a living dog, but alright. It does bark continuously to give away its location as it runs around, but it is pretty fast and can be hard to kill if you're in a somewhat confined space. And Nomad's equipment is the mesh mine. You get 2 at a time to fire down. It is best to lay them out as a tripwire, but they can work even if not connected to anything, if somebody gets very close to them. Again, this is an ability that you can use as soon as you get. You don't have to wait for a good situation. Just plop them down, and there's a good chance it'll get you a free kill at some point later in the game, because they don't despawn when you die. After all, your equipment recharging is completely independent of whether you die or not, so that means they're going to stick around for a long time. Easy to use, kinda cheap and annoying. That's Nomad. Now, how about Ajax, who may look a little boring from the description, a riot shield and a flashbang, but my god, that shield seems like the most powerful thing ever, because remember, it does come with that machine pistol that you can fire through the shield, which, when fortified, covers your entire body very effectively. Maybe people don't know enough about countering this thing yet, maybe not enough people run launchers, but generally, if you keep your enemies in front of you, this thing seems unstoppable, and has to be among the best lethal specialist weapons in the game. Not hard to use at all, and can really lock down an objective. And his equipment, being that 9 bang, definitely comes in handy. If you hold it to charge it up, you'll get the full 9 bangs in bursts of 3. Otherwise, if you throw it as quickly as you can, you'll only get the initial 3. Either way, it's great to clear out a hardpoint. Here's what it looks like getting flashed by it. You can't see for a couple seconds, and your hand will be up by your eyes. Finally, that isn't just a third-person effect, and you will only be able to hipfire during that time. So it is useful, but we're getting into the type of ability where you should wait for an appropriate time and place to use it. That's what I was talking about earlier, about loving the lazy abilities where you may as well just use it right away. Alright, now how about Firebreak, who I had to have kind of high up on here. Probably should be higher. I just didn't really enjoy using him that much, but I know going up against him is maybe more annoying than anyone else. His weapon being the Purifier, same old flamethrower, but definitely with some impressive range, and his ability being the Reactor core, the thing that I thought looked by far the cheapest and most annoying in the trailer. And yeah, you can just walk into an objective and irradiate everybody through walls, but in reality you typically won't get many kills at all doing that. Any decent player getting hit by that will know you're vulnerable and will shut you down as quickly as they can, but it is very good as a team support ability because everybody you burned will be softened up and will not be able to heal for an upsettingly long time. Same with the fire damage taken from the Purifier, healing is disabled afterwards. I have seen most people agreeing that it is far too long at the moment. I would expect that to change in the future. So right now it is pretty powerful to soften up a bunch of people and stop them from healing, but it can take some maneuvering to get into a spot to use the Reactor core effectively. And just so you know, when you're in the second stage of the Reactor core, in that danger zone where you start to sacrifice your own health to keep it going, you're actually dealing more damage and have a larger range, so it may very well be worth it to go all the way and only cut it off right before death to try to heal up if you can. Luckily, you don't disable your own ability to heal by burning yourself. Moving on to Recon, the new Vision Pulsar. New and improved, I should say, because my god, they buffed the hell out of it. Instead of the old pulse that revealed enemies in a small area to only you, why not just pulse everybody several times and reveal them to the entire team? That's like 3 dimensions better than the BO3 Vision Pulse. How did that technology get so much worse going from BO4 to BO3 in the timeline of that universe? Anyway, it's a very strong Vision Pulse, more so as a benefit for your entire team, not just you. Everybody knows when they're tagged because they'll be glowing red on their end as well, but that doesn't stop it from being very strong. You just have to stay alive to keep the pulsing going for the full duration. Don't pop it when you're about to die on an objective, and it'll make for great team support. And his equipment, being maybe one of the best in the game, the sensor dart, just aim anywhere to fire that dart into something and have a UAV sweep in that area for a while. A pretty generous radius as well, excellent in hardpoint, but plenty useful in any mode. That's Recon for you. Now, Seraph, another familiar specialist, and another that maybe I shouldn't be listing so late. The Annihilator returns as the special weapon, in a slightly lower tech form, but it does the same thing. It's just a pocket sniper, you point at people and delete them. You do have to have thumbs to use it, so I guess that makes it a bit harder to use compared to some of the other weapons, but there really isn't much to it. The equipment, however, is very unique. The Tac-Deploy beacon, setting up a spawning area for your team. It can be easily located and destroyed by someone with engineer, but lots of people seem to ignore them in my experience, and influencing the spawns is obviously a huge deal. In something like Hardpoint, being able to easily control an entire cycle, or in Dom, being able to place it down by B to overwhelm anybody defending it. But as a solo player in public matches, or just somebody playing TDM, I really wouldn't be a huge deal there. The usefulness of that equipment really depends on who you're playing with, and what you're playing, and what the level of competition is. Time for Ruin, maybe a lot of people's favorite, I don't know, maybe some Grapple addicts out there. His weapon though, still the Gravity Slam. I guess it's good to clear out a room, it doesn't take any aiming to use, but I just find it boring and annoying if you get shut down while trying to use it. I just don't like holding on to it forever and waiting for the best possible time to activate it, or else just using it for one panic kill. Oh well. But yeah, the grappling hook, very unique, the most advanced movement there is in this game, and it is very useful for getting around quickly. But I just don't think it's needed, and it may often get you killed if you overuse it. So the grappling can be very fun. I'm just not the biggest Ruin fan, but that's 100% opinion. Now, Prophet, his younger, lower-tech self, he's got a low-tech Tempest as well, which I just don't find that special. It's like an overpowered DMR. One shot will immobilize someone to the ground, another will kill, and the shock can chain to nearby people, locking them to the ground as well. But compared to some of the other weapons, I'm just not in love with it. You do still have to aim, after all, and it doesn't have perfect hipfire accuracy like the BO3 Tempest, so I don't know, it doesn't seem that special to me. I may as well keep melting people with the MX9. His equipment, though, is the Seeker Shock Mine. Those things are very annoying and very fast. You just toss it down, and it'll roll up to somebody and start zapping them, locking them in place, and making them a pretty easy kill for you or anyone nearby. Not bad by any means. Even though we're getting to the bottom of the list, it doesn't mean I think these things are terrible, they're just not what I liked the most. And again, this order isn't very clearly defined. I expect my opinions will keep changing. So now we've got Battery here. I don't know why she sneers at you like that. She looks so disgusted with you for considering drafting her, or whatever that expression is, like she trusted a fart that she should not have. Anyway, she's a very straightforward, explosive specialist, with the weapon being that war machine. Launch some noob tubes at people, pretty self-explanatory. And the equipment being a cluster grenade. Pretty self-explanatory. You throw it, it blows up and lets out smaller things that also blow up. It's alright, but nothing crazy. And we're finally at the end with Torque. Maybe I'm severely undervaluing him. I will say when I used him, it went alright. I racked up a good amount of points and even a couple kills with his microwave Barricade, which is his main weapon. It does charge up faster than the strictly lethal stuff, and it provides some helpful portable cover to protect an objective while acting like a Guardian turret at the same time, but it's fairly map and mode dependent. It's much better if you're playing hardpoint in an area where there's a narrow hallway, for example. Same thing goes for his razor wire equipment. Easy to deploy and block off a doorway, but there are multiple ways into a place, and if anyone has a launcher, both your Barricade and razor wire are not going to stick around for very long. Also, the razor wire is a complete non-issue for anybody running the Tactical Mask Blue perk, which is a fairly good common perk. So Torque is a big maybe to me. I left him down here at the bottom. I can see how he could be very useful in disrupting and blocking people, but in my experience going up against those barricades and wire, it's not like the barricade height is perfect for head glitching. Jumping and shooting over it isn't an issue, and I've yet to be a victim of the microwaving or the razor wire. If I don't have Tac Mask, I can either launcher it or just go around. I'm not going to walk into it. Pretty easy to avoid. But there you have all 10 specialists in their beta forms. If you have yet to play the beta, hope that provides some insight. If you have played the beta, I'm curious if your ranking has any overlap with mine, or is completely different, because I feel like it easily could be. I think preference plays a big role, and maybe I have yet to experience the full potential of some of their abilities, but I'll leave it at that. Hopefully this video was not too low energy. I feel like it might have been, running on not very much sleep, but I'm enjoying the BO4 beta. Certainly have my grievances with it as well, trying to keep notes of all that. The review, opinion, all that will come later. For now, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.